Hello and welcome to my June manga reading log, which is also my Pride manga reading log, because I read mostly BL in June. There was some that I didn't read, there were some that I read that weren't BL, because I started off the month reading BL and then I ran out, so I had to read other things until my sci-fi arrived, and then I went on to read BL for the rest of the month. So there is a bit in the middle that isn't BL, but the majority is BL. So yeah, I was taking part in the Pride Manga Readathon, and I didn't manage to get all the prompts done, but I did manage to get a bingo, so I did complete it that way. I could have fulfilled the Tokyo Pop prompt, but I didn't quite have enough time in the month to be able to read Lullaby of the Dawn in order to fulfill that prompt, but I could have gotten that one. The other ones, I don't think I had anything that could have fulfilled them. But anyway, let's get on with the reading log. I will mention if it fulfilled a prompt when I'm talking about the volumes. So the first thing I read was a manhwa called Deodore. This one is a BL. It's to do with demons. This one I gave 3.5 stars, and this one did fulfill the prompts of 7 Seas, Start a Series, and Uniform. Because he's a priestman, he has a priest uniform. I did use multiple series for some prompts. Like, I've got 2 different series fulfilling the Start series prompt. I have 2 of them for blue cover, 2 of them for green cover, stuff like that, because I wanted to include those series, but I've already fulfilled those prompts. But I decided they both fulfill the prompt, I'll count them both. So yeah, this was the first one I read. This one follows a police officer who's investigating a series of cult related crimes, and like, these cult members are quite strange in their behaviour and stuff. And then he comes across a demon who needs he's in a battle with another demon. I think the person he's in a battle with is Lucifer or Satan, one or the other. And he needs to restore his power in order to get back to the demon world through a door, and that door needs to be a person, and usually like these doors are like a one-time thing, like, which is what the cult members are. They're using them as one-time doors. But he finds the police officer dude, and he's like some sort of special case, which is he's a door he can use multiple times over. He doesn't have to be a one and done sort of thing. So he decides to make him into his door, and in order to activate the door, he has to get him aroused, get him to splurge, and then he can travel between the human and demon realms. So yeah, and yeah, so they're doing the business in order for him to travel back home, basically. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I'd definitely read more. It was interesting. I do like a good supernatural element in my BL. There's also another demon as well. And there's one panel in this where you see a gigantuan wide open arsehole. You can see right up that thing, and that's the first time I've seen one that open in a BL before. So yeah, this series gave me a first in that regard. So yeah, it is explicit. If the previous sentence didn't explain that already, it is explicit. But yeah, I quite enjoyed this one. We'll see how it goes and see if... Obviously, they're probably going to develop some sort of relationship with each other. Right now, it's kind of just, I'm using you as my doll. But obviously, I'm guessing other things will develop in the future. So yeah, I'm quite intrigued to continue this one. It was an interesting first read of the month, and a good kick-off to the readathon. And next, the second thing I read was Murderous Rowan's Candlelit Dinner Volume 2. I gave this one 3.5 stars. And this one didn't end up fulfilling any prompts for the readathon. The readathon is the one hosted by Bizarre Individual, October 2000, and Ms. Manga, by the way. I forgot to mention that. It's their readathon that I was taking part in. So the second thing I read was Murderous Llewellyn's Candlelit Dinner 2. I said this one didn't fulfill any prompts. This one was 3.5 stars. This one's, yeah. It takes place in kind of like a Victorian era sort of setting, or like early 20th century sort of setting. I don't know what country it takes place in, but I think it's somewhere in Europe. But yeah, he moves into this apartment, and his new neighbour is someone called Llewellyn, and Llewellyn is possibly a murderer, hence the title. But the two, he's kind of very drawn to Siobhan, that's the main guy. And he's also always on the stairs peeling onions, and there's definitely something strange going on with him. There's definitely something that's gone on in his past that's done things to him. But yeah, it's quite an interesting. We did learn some few more things in the second volume, and yeah, I wasn't expecting some of them. And then Llewellyn's a bit, well, he's a murderer, so I don't know what you'd expect, but yeah. So yeah, I did enjoy this one, and I'm definitely intrigued to continue it, to see how things go. I'm not 100% sold on the relationship because of the way Llewellyn is. He's very, very possessive, and I don't like that. But the story is intriguing enough that I want to know more, so I'm definitely going to continue it. So yeah, I quite like the story, just not so much the relationship. But yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to be like, what's going to happen next? What went on with these characters in the past and stuff like that. This one's another manual, by the way. It's also in full colour. This one isn't explicit. This one's just rated teen. Next, I'll grab all these together. The next thing I read, I don't know if they'll all fit up here, but we've got Little Mushroom 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just gonna I think they'll be alright like that. So yeah, this is a manhua, I think it's pronounced. It's Chinese, anyway. It's a BL sci-fi series set in the future. So anyway, I gave the first 2 volumes 4 stars, and then the third one 4.5 stars. I did really enjoy what I read of this, and before I get more into the plot and stuff, I will go over the reading stuff. The first volume fulfilled the prompts of start a series again, much like Theodore did, and green cover, the leaves are green. And then the second one fulfilled the prompt of blue cover. It's blue. It was blue enough for me to count. And then the third one didn't fulfill any prompts. There is no prompt for white cover. So yeah, I really love this series. The artwork is fantastic. It's so pretty. So this one it takes place in a futuristic world after the Earth's magnetic poles have been destroyed. So because of that, load of radiation comes down. It makes the environment uninhabitable. It mutates people into these monsters called, I can't remember what the monsters are called, but it mutates them into monsters. And if they get attacked by these monsters and like they draw blood, they can be infected and they can turn into monsters themselves. Zygods. Was it Zygods? Is that what they're called? I think so. That might be completely wrong. Or it might be correct. But yeah, humans now live in these bases where they've made like fake magnetic poles to like stop the radiation, so the Earth is kind of still habitable. And they go out on like missions to get resources and stuff. And on one of these missions, a boy called Anze gets seriously wounded and ends up in a forest where he comes across a sentient mushroom. Anze and the mushroom have a bit of a chat. Anze then dies, and the mushroom takes his body. And that is the little mushroom. And then he's looking for his spore. His spore has been stolen, and the spore is the most important thing to them. So now the only crew he has is a bullet. So now he's going to the human settlement to try and find his spore. But he's heard that the human settlement's extremely difficult to get inside of because they have judges at the entrance who can tell on sight if someone's infected, and they just straight up shoot them. And the supreme judge, the guy on the front of this cover, is like the leader of them, and he's the most accurate. He can always tell at a glance whether someone's infected or not. So he's worried that he might be able to not to be able to get into the city because of that. And yeah, that's the general plot. It's very good. I said the art is stunning. I really like the characters. What is the judge's name? Like everyone fears him and he's considered a monster, but I don't think he's as bad as everyone's making it out to be. I just think he's kind of doing his job to try and keep everyone safe. What is his name? Wu Feng. His name is Wu Feng. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I would highly recommend it. The editions are also fantastic. They're hardbacks. They have covers that come with a bunch of extras. So yeah, I got these from Aurora Comics website where you can get the box set of the first 3 volumes with all the extras, and yeah, it's very worth it. This series is very good. And I know the light novel's coming out from 7 Seas. I'm gonna pick it up to support it because I liked it a lot, and obviously the comic isn't as caught up to the novel. I think the novel is finished. So I'm looking forward to picking that up too, but I don't know if I'll actually read it. But I do want to pick it up to support the series because I really enjoyed it. I don't know when we're getting volume 4 of the comic. So next I ran out of BL. So the next few are just mostly shoujo with some other stuff mixed in. So next, oops. Yeah, there we go. On the 6th, I read It Takes More Than a Pretty Face for in Love, Volume 3. I gave this one 4 stars. This one is as cute as the other volumes. I'm really enjoying this one a lot. I really like these two together. I'm really liking how much he is being very obvious with the way he feels, and she's just not getting it at all. It's a little bit annoying, but it's also cute, and she's just quite oblivious. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. This one was this. Did they go on a school trip? Was the school trip this volume, or was it the previous volume? No, I think the school trip was this volume. But yeah, I'm really loving this one. I think it's great. It's a high school romance with a girl who tends to like she likes people with pretty faces, and she likes to stan like celebrities and stuff with pretty faces. And when she goes to her school, she meets the blue-haired boy who she thinks has a very pretty face, and she's not standing him. He's like famous in the school. I think he's an amateur model as well. and he's in danger of being expelled because he never goes to the classes or anything. And the teacher's like, there's not many students coming to this school, we need more students in the school, so can you start up a social media account and post yourself on it to try and build up our reputation and get more students to enroll. But he knows, despite being a influencer and a model, he knows nothing about social media, so she helps him by running the account. And he wants her to see him as more than just a pretty face, that he's not just... It's more than just his face, he's got character to him as well. He wants her to like him for as he is, rather than just for his face. It's very cute. And I'm really enjoying it. Next is another manhwa. This one is not a BL though. This is Bastard Volume 2. This one is, I gave 4 stars. I really like the second volume. The series is picking up and I'm really starting to get invested now. It's about a son whose father is a serial killer and he's kind of his accomplice. He has been since he was little. And now this new girl has started at his school, and she's exactly the type of girl that his dad tends to target and kill. But he's starting to develop feelings for her, so he wants to keep her safe from his dad. This one is probably one of the most famous webtoons. At least it was back when it first. I saw this advertised everywhere back when this first started coming out. This and Sweet Home. I remember seeing them advertised quite a lot. And the webtoons were still publishing. But yeah, it's very good. It's been very good so far. And I'm enjoying it. And I want to see him give his dad what he deserves. Because his dad is a right psychopath. Yeah, really, really like that one. It's kind of it's horror thriller. It's good. Next, on the 8th, I read Loving Moondog Volume 3. This is a steamship title that... It's a good series, I enjoy the story, but it does not need to be a steamship title. It's quite tame. I don't even think it's never plastic wrapped, and it's not rated mature on how it's only rated older teen. But yeah, the amount of smut-y parts in the series, at least so far, has just been very tame. So yeah, I enjoy it as a manga, but as a steamship it's disappointing because it's basically, it's not steamy. So yeah, it's about a dog groomer who comes across a dog who turns out to be a man who can turn into a dog because of a family... It's not so much a curse as more of an inherited condition, because it's passed down throughout the family. And he's looking for a mate who can give him a child so he can become the head of the family, basically. And he's taken a liking to her, so he started living in her house. But why she wants him to live as a dog rather than a person, because she finds it easier to live with him when he's a dog. I like all the dogs in this series, and the poodle. The poodle wasn't in this one as much. I really like the poodle. He was in it, but obviously he played a bigger part in the previous volume. There was also a grumpy Shiba Inu who needed specialty grooming in this one, and his grumpy face was quite cute. But yeah, if you want a fun romance which involves dogs, I would recommend it. If you want a smutty, steamy steamship, I wouldn't. But yeah, I do enjoy it. Next, on the 9th and 10th, I finished Wolf Girl and Black Prince. I read 14, 15, and 16. I read 15 and 16 on the same day. Oh, there's a hair attached to that. So there we go. I don't think they're all going to fit on there, so they can just be... They can rest against it whilst it wraps its legs around them. And now you can't see the bottom of the cover. Okay, so I'm going to just pop that one there, and then... kind of works. So I gave the first... I think I gave them... Yeah, I gave them all 4 stars. Kyoya had to get one more annoyance in right at the end there. Because obviously I'm not going to spoil anything too much because it's the final part of the series. So it's the end. Yeah, overall I did enjoy the series. I would probably give the series like a 7 out of 10 in total. I give a lot of things a 7 out of 10. Or 8. 7 or 8 seems to be my most common score. It's not very often things get a 9 or a 10 unless I really, really, really love it. Like Fruits Basket. Oh, Don't Go with Mysteries, another one that I gave a 10. I think they're 2 of the... Not many series get a 10. But yeah, I'll give this one like a 7 for the whole series. Because Kyoya was getting on my nerves quite a lot throughout, but I did still enjoy it as a whole. Like, I watched the anime back in the day. I knew what I was expecting, but he still annoys me. But yeah, he had to get one last thing in at the end that really annoyed me. But I'm glad San put him in his place. Her best friend San, knocking on his door, being like, giving him a good tearing off and putting him in his place. That was satisfying. So yeah, that was good to see. So overall, I did enjoy reading the series. It's finished now. I don't have to have any more volumes of Kyoya annoying me. There's some chapters where he doesn't annoy me, and I think he does stuff that's quite cute, but most of the time he's annoying because he's quite an arse, to be fair. But yeah, I enjoyed the ending. It ended well. And yeah, if you want to read like red flag, male read, romance, give it a go. He's not great, but I still enjoy it. Next, just 5 more non-BL before we get back to the BL. Sci-fi took its time getting here, so I had to fill the holes with something else. Anyway, Spacewalking with You Volume 2, I read this one on the 11th. Gave this one 4 stars. This one is about a couple of neurodivergent teenagers in high school and them becoming friends and joining the astronomy club because the back hair guy is really interested in space. It's like his special interest is space, and he loves the stars and the planets and stuff, so they join the astronomy club, and he's his only friend, so he wants him to join with him because the club needs 3 members or it'll be shut down. There's already 1 member there. But yeah, I really like it. It's good representation as well. The black haired dude has autism and the blonde dude has like ADHD or some sort of learning difficulty. But yeah, it's a very good manga. It's slice of life. It's just about friendship between people who are different, and it's very nice. Especially as someone who's on the spectrum myself, I quite enjoyed reading it. Next, we have Sheltering Eves, Volume 4. I gave this one 4 stars. This one's very dramatic. We went from something that's kind of more laid back and slice of life to something that's very dramatic. And there's another... Is that a hair? Where's all these hairs coming from? They're probably off one of the dogs. Probably Jet. Jet's molting at the minute and her hairs are getting everywhere. So yeah, Sheltering Eves. Very dramatic. But you kind of expect that from a Ray Aruga, I think you pronounce the name, title, because Perfect World was very dramatic as well. I really like Perfect World, but it was also very dramatic and drama filled. Same with this one. It's about two kids who are in a children's home because of circumstances with their parents and stuff. They're not orphans, they do have parents, but they weren't treated very well by their parents, which is why they were taken off them and put in the children's home. But they are recently turning 18, and once they turn 18, I don't know if this is the rule anymore, but back when this was written, which I don't think was that long ago, the rule was as soon as a kid turned 18, they could no longer stay at the children's home and they would have to leave and go make up their own way in the world, basically. So they're both fast approaching 18 and fast approaching them having to leave the only real home they've ever known, basically. But yeah. I can't really discuss what happens in this volume without spoiling things because, yeah, it's quite a bit have happened in the first 3 volumes to now get to this volume of where we are now. And everything that's gone on. There's a lot. But if you want to read a drama-heavy Josei series with some romance that discusses themes of, like, child neglect and child abuse and toxic codependency, give this one a go. I think it's done well. I'm not familiar with these experiences myself, but I think it's written well. There's also a rapper who writes cringy lyrics, so there's a bit of fun in amongst all the drama with there. Next, on the 13th, I read Gene Bride Volume 2. This one I gave 4 stars. After reading Volume 1, I did write down a list of theories that I think was happening in this series that I was going to be like, after I read more, I'll be like, whether they were right or not. Based on Volume 2, this is now halfway through the series, there's only 4 volumes. I think some of my theories do seem to be correct, and other ones not so much. But yeah, this is a very interesting Josei sci-fi drama title about this girl. This is her as a teenager. She's an adult now. She's in her 20s or 30s, I think. And she doesn't feel like she's taken seriously in her work because she's a woman and she feels like she's looked down on because of that and the way Japanese society treats women. And when she was a teenager, there was like this Gene Bride experiment thing that happened where they paired couples together with who's supposedly their perfect match. And she was paired with this guy because he was late, and so they were like the last 2 left. But anyway, she's an adult now, and this guy comes into her life in order to thank her for being his partner back then. And she's like, you don't really need to do that. And I'm not very interested in being your partner, despite what that said in high school. And it's like, yeah, I'm not very interested either. But then strange things start to occur. Things are mentioned that were it's a bit odd. And then the first volume ends on like this cliffhanger, which then continues into this volume where we now got kind of a split POV between her and another character who I can't really mention who this other character is without spoiling the twist at the end of the first volume. But this volume's perspective are kind of split between the two of them, and it was very interesting. There was also an interview in the end of this volume with the author as well as the author of Akoku Nikki, where they did an interview together. Right here. And that was very interesting as well. I read through the whole thing. Kokoniki has recently been licensed at Expo by Inkwell of all publishers. I knew it was coming because of something that was accidentally let slipped on Twitter. So I knew it had been licensed. I just didn't know who had it. I just didn't expect it to be Inkwell. That was quite a shock. I expected it to be either Yen Press or 70s. But I am happy that it is licensed because it's a series that I did want in English, because I haven't watched the anime yet, but I really like the look of the anime. It seems like very sort of one of those drama-heavy josei series that I tend to enjoy. So I do want to watch the anime and then get into the manga as well. So I'm happy that one was picked up. That's probably the only license that I was kind of excited for from Expo. The rest of them were kind of disappointing. But yeah, this was great, and I'm looking forward to reading the last two to see where things go and to see what theories were actually true, because I can't really tell for sure just now because things haven't really been answered yet. Not a lot of things, anyway. Next, on the 14th, if I can reach down now that the pile's getting shorter, we have Nina the Story Bride 11. This one I gave 4 stars. And why can't I remember what happened in this volume? I can remember what happened in all the other volumes, but why not this one? Nina continues to be good anyway. Oh yes. Now I remember what happened in this one. A lot of things that I can't talk about without spoiling it. But yeah, Set's on the cover. I do like this cover. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I do like my Nina. It's a very good josei fantasy series. And I think we may be catching up to the digitals now. I'm not sure. I know I'm behind in picking up the physicals, because I think there's like 15 out or 16. But I think the physicals are now catching up to the digitals, so they might slow down a little bit and give me a bit more of a chance to catch up. Yeah, I really like Nina. I think I've already explained the plot of Nina multiple times already. But it is a fantasy josei about a girl who is taken to become the replacement for the priestess of the country who was killed in an accident. And she has to pretend to be her and be trained by the prince of... I can't remember the name of the country. I remember the name of Set's country, Fortna. She's trained by the Prince of Fortna because she's supposed to marry the Prince of Galgada, Set, in order to like bridge relations between the countries. But yeah, it's very good. I just bad with names. It's not just names of people, it's names of places. And apparently names of things as well, like the monsters and little mushroom. Next, I ran out of manga entirely. So I read Daytime Shooting Star Volume 10, which I gave 3.5 stars. This is 2 left, and this will be finished. And then after this, I went back to BL. Yeah, this continued to be good. I like... Was there a side story in this one? Oh yeah, there was. There's this side character got a story in the end, and I like the stuff with the student Mamora. I like that the focus is shifting more to Mamora, and I wasn't happy with the teacher. I don't remember his name. I wasn't happy with the teacher's actions in this one. He annoyed me quite a bit. And I was like, why are you doing this now? But yeah, I like the stuff with Mamora. It got half a star knocked off for the teacher being a bit of a twat. But other than that, I enjoyed the volume. And only 2 more towards the end of the series. And then I got back to the BL because Typhoid arrived. And I'm just going to pick it all up because the pile's getting a bit short now. I'm just going to hold it. So the next BL I read was If It's You, I Might Try Falling in Love Volume 2. This one I gave 4 stars. This one is super cute. This one also fulfilled the prompt of friends to lovers because he arrives in this new town and he becomes friends with this boy and they start out as friends. The prompt wasn't childhood friends to lovers, so I think this counts. I think they just had to be friends first, which they were. He is like he's kind of semi-openly gay because obviously I think his family knows, and I think people from where he originally came from knew because he had a bad experience with a boy who he fancied in his class, and then he swore off love and he decided to just have like superficial sexual relationships where he would just have one night stands and stuff and only be with someone for the sex, basically. And then he had to move to, I think it's Enoshima, Okinawa, somewhere like that. And he meets this boy there who becomes his classmate, and his family runs a restaurant, and they start out as friends. But then he starts developing feelings for him, but he doesn't want to repeat what happened with his last friend who he developed feelings for. So he does decide to, like, keep it from the guy at first. But yeah, it's really cute. And I enjoyed this series, and I'm looking forward to more. Next, I didn't read anything on the 17th. On the 18th, I read Havana, which is something. I only gave this one 2.5 stars. I wasn't a big fan, but it did get me the prompts of underwear, breakup, and love triangle. Because this series is it's told from the perspective of this girl and her boyfriend, who is the blonde-haired guy. I think it was originally a one-shot based on how the first chapter ends, but we have this girl and it's from her perspective, and the blonde guy's her boyfriend, and then there's this new transfer student comes to the class, which is the black-haired guy, and her boyfriend just immediately starts beating him up for no reason out of nowhere. And she's like, why? And then she realizes it's because he has some sort of weird attraction to him where he feels the need to show it via violence. But yeah, the first chapter kind of... He breaks up with his girlfriend at the end of the first chapter, so that's where the breakup part comes from, and obviously the love triangle is between him, the girlfriend, and the guy, because she does still have feelings for him despite the fact they've broken up. And then the second chapter, I think it was originally one shot because the second chapter is like 3 years later. And that's like the main portion of the story. And yeah, it was quite toxic. I didn't like the blonde dude at all. But it fulfilled me some prompts, so it was good for that. But I don't think I'm going to be keeping this one because I did not like it. But yeah, if you want to... It's by the author of Classmates, I think. I think it's the author of Classmates. If you want to read something like really toxic, I don't mind toxic BLs. I just didn't like this one. I thought the story was a bit rushed. Obviously, it jumped around quite a bit. We have the first chapter, then a couple of chapters, and then more time passes and you get a couple more chapters. So it was a bit jumpy and it felt a bit rushed, and I hated the blonde dude. So yeah. It fulfilled the prompts that I didn't think I'd be able to fulfill, because I didn't know whether I'd be assigned a series with a breakup. But I found this one. I think it still counts even though it's his girlfriend he broke up with and not the guy. It's still a breakup, so I counted it. But yeah, it is from the author Classmates. That's the girlfriend on the back. But yeah, I wasn't a fan. I didn't read anything on the 19th, and then on the 20th plus 21st, I read Semantic Error. I gave this one 3.5 stars. This one fulfilled the prompts of red cover and friend's recommendation. This is one my niece recommended. She hasn't actually read it herself, she's only watched the drama, but she recommended it based on the drama. And yeah, that dude was so annoying. So yeah, it's about a guy who's in a computer club. And he was doing a presentation, and it was supposed to be a presentation with 4 people. But he's the only one who did any work. The other 3 guys, and 2 of them only did the meetings, and then the 3rd guy just never turned up. So when he did the presentation, he decided to only credit his name rather than all their names, because they didn't do anything, basically. Especially the guy who didn't even turn up for a single meeting. So anyway, he does that, and then the guy was like, I can't graduate now. Because his name wasn't on the presentation, he didn't get any credits for the class, and now he can't graduate, and he was going to go study abroad and all that. Because he told the teacher that he was attending the meetings, and while the guy was reporting on the fact, because he was called into the office to ask why his name was the only one on the presentation, he's like, well, the other guys they didn't contribute, basically, and this guy didn't even turn up. He's like, well, this guy told me he was turning up, he's apparently been attending class, and then he's like, well, he hasn't. So the teachers then found out that he was actually faking attendance, and he wasn't actually there, so he lost his credits, and he can't graduate, so he's been pushed back a year, which really, really annoyed him. But it's mostly his own fault for faking attendance in the first place. Anyway, he's working on a mobile game, and the person he was working on it with quits because she is going abroad as well, I think. And she says she's got someone she knows who can work on the game in her stead, and the guy turns out to be the douchebag who is the one who couldn't graduate. And he is an absolute douchebag. I can't stand him. He's a smarmy bastard. He's the type of character who makes you want to punch him in the face every time you see him. And I don't know how any sort of relationship's going to develop between these two, because he's absolutely horrible. This guy, the guy in the cap, the main character, he has like a routine he does every single day. He gets up at the same time, he goes to school at the same time, he always goes to the convenience store and drinks the same type of coffee, he always sits in the same seats, he always uses the same bin. So he's in quite a rigid routine, and in order to get revenge on him for not including his name on the presentation that he didn't even do anything for, he decides to mess with him so he follows him around everywhere. He deliberately wears red because he knows he doesn't like red because it's the colour of errors. He pinches his seats. He makes it so he buys all the coffee so it's sold out and he can't get any. He deliberately fills up the bin that he usually uses. He blocks the streets he usually walks on. And he's just being a generally annoying twat. And I really couldn't stand him. So yeah, I quite liked the plot. But he's gonna have to change his ways in order for me to like the relationship, because I can't frickin' stand the dude. This dude. With his red coat and his can of Coke. Yeah, I'm ranting a bit because he just did me head in. And the poor dude couldn't use his bin or get his coffee. So yeah. I did give it 3.5 stars because I quite like the computer-y stuff and this guy. But yeah, he's gonna have to change his ways, or I don't know how any sort of romantic relationship is gonna develop. So anyway, moving on before I rant about him even more. Oh shit. See, he's even... He's even knocking my pile over when I try to put him on the top of it. Anyway, next, on the 22nd, I read Be My Worst Nightmare, Volume 3. And this one I gave 3.5 stars. And did I use this for anything? Did I use this for anything? I don't think I did. Oh, I did. Purple cover. I know it's not that purple, and I was deliberating with myself whether I should count it as being a purple cover or not. But I was thought, this bit here is purple, and then the spine's got some like purpley blue bits on it, and then the back's got some purple, and I was like, yeah, I'm counting it, it's purple. So yeah, this one follows the brother of one of the characters from the couple in the first 2 volumes. The one that had the plushie had a brother, and this follows the brother, that's him, and this guy, who surprisingly was not the type of character you would expect. And he's also started going into, when he falls asleep, he sees through the eyes of this keychain which the other guy has, a bit like the plot with the other character. So yeah, this volume focused on the brother. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this story as much as I did the first story. It's the same concept with him going inside of the plushie, only this one's a keychain, and being able to see what the other guy's doing while he's asleep. And it gets sexual. And I liked it. Next, I read Stay By My Side After the Rain, Volume 4. I gave this 4 stars. And this completed the prompt of finishing a series, because this is the final volume. This is a sweet, cute one. They go on their first trip together to the hot springs. And yeah, they have a fight. They have the first proper fight, and then they go on a trip to the hot springs together, and it's cute. And it's wholesome. And I could have kind of given this one red cover because of the leaves as well, but I already had red cover for that one, and then there's another one, so I wasn't going to have 3 volumes with the red cover thing. Yeah, if you want a sweet, wholesome one, this one's good. It was originally a one-shot, and then it was originally 2 volumes, and then 3, and then 4. Anyway, next, I read on the 25th, Kitayama and Minamiya, Volume 1. And this is 3.5 stars. And this, did I fulfill promise with this? No, I don't think this fulfilled anything. This one follows a high school guy who works in a convenience store part-time, and he has this thing where he can imagine absolutely anyone with a cum face, basically. You can imagine them, what they look like when they're coming. So he's in the convenience store, and he has a co-worker who's the black-haired guy, and he's the only guy he can't imagine what he looks like coming. So he's constantly staring at him, which gives the black-haired guy the wrong idea and makes him think he likes him, and they somehow fumble themselves into a relationship because of this. But he thinks that he's only interested in sex because he really only entered this relationship because he wants to see him come and see what his face looks like. And yeah, it's quite silly. I quite enjoyed it. Obviously, it is explicit because you can kind of tell based on the concept. But yeah, it's quite a silly one, and I quite liked it. Next, on the 26th and the 27th, this one took me a couple of days. I have Voices in the Sea Foam, which I gave 3 stars. This one fulfilled the prompt of a blue cover, same as Brittle Mushroom. So if Little Mushroom's cover wasn't blue enough, this one is on the next one, but I counted this one. So yeah, this one is the story. It's like a Little Mermaid, not retelling, but it's based on the Little Mermaid, where the main character is basically, he's the reincarnation of the Little Mermaid, and he has the curse that she did. Like, it's more based on the original novel rather than the Disney film, where the sea witch cursed her by splitting her tail in half in order to turn it into legs. Every time she takes a step, she's in excruciating pain, and she also, I think in the novel she gets her tongue taken out so she can't speak, but in this she's lost her voice. So every time he falls in love with someone and sees the person he loves, he gets excruciating pain in his legs and he loses his voice. So he meets this guy in college, and he falls for him at first sight, so now he's trying to avoid him because every time he sees him, obviously he loses his voice and the use of his legs. And I put my finger inside of the tripod and now it's stuck and I can't, there we go. Can't get it, I got it out. So he loses his voice and the use of his legs, and he thinks that he's just sickly and that he's mute and he can't talk in public and stuff like that. But yeah, it was very, very insta love, which I wasn't keen on, and also it was a bit rushed, and the ending was just okay. But yeah, they kind of fell in love too quickly, and then yeah, I just wasn't keen on it. It wasn't really for me, so I only gave it 3 stars. But it's very blue. Yeah, and the thing with the curse, but the resolution wasn't great either. Anyway, it just wasn't something I really enjoyed. Probably some people are gonna like it, but it just wasn't nice. It wasn't something I liked. The next thing was, though, on the 28th and the 29th, I read Our Sunny Days, Volume 1. This one I gave 4 stars. This one was very cute. This one fulfilled the prompt of a favourite trope, because it's kind of slightly grumpy sometimes, I would say. The dude's definitely grumpy, that's for sure. But he's not as typical as a Sunshine, this dude, but I still like the dynamic, so I counted it as favourite trope. So anyway, he is the main character. He was in the he did his Korean military service, like all guys in Korea have to do, but then he joined the US military afterwards, so he was in the US for quite a long time, and while there he ended up he had a girlfriend whilst he was there, and she secretly got pregnant. Well, she didn't secretly get pregnant, he got her pregnant, but she kept it a secret until after she'd had the baby, because they'd already broken up at this point. And then she shows up on his door and is like, "This is your daughter. She's yours. I don't want her." So he takes on the baby and he moves back to Korea, to this small country town in like the middle of nowhere, with the baby, who's very goofy looking. This is her here. So, and the baby doesn't have a name. He hasn't thought up a name for the baby yet. So the baby is nameless, at least throughout this whole first volume. And there he meets the village head. He's the village head, and he's like a grumpy dude who's like, I think, slightly older than him, or like 5 or 6 years or something like that. But he's very grumpy, and they get off on the wrong foot. But he's also very helpful, and he wants to help him fit in and move in and help him with the baby and stuff. And yeah, it's very cute. Their relationship is cute, and I want to see it develop. But yeah, they start off on the wrong foot, but they soon clear things up, and he's just a bit grumpy. And the baby's just goofy. But yeah, this is the bird head dude. But yeah, I really like this one. I know it is a popular one. A lot of people like this one, and I can see why. It's adorable. I'm definitely going to be continuing with this one. And yeah, very good. It may end up being a new favourite the more I read it. Because obviously this first volume was kind of just getting going, and I think it's going to get better. Not that it's not good already, because it is. There's the baby again. I think it said in the back that the baby's like 6 months old. Yeah, it says 6 months. And the last thing I read on the 30th, which I gave 4 stars, was A Howl of the Heart. This one also fulfilled the prompt for a red cover, along with like semantic error, something error. So this is like a historical fantasy setting. This one was really good. I really like the plot of this one. We follow the brown black-haired dude, and there's 2 warring countries. There's the east, and is it the south and the north, or the east and the west? Something like that. No, it's south and north, because it's like the Crimson South and the Azure North. And he comes from the Crimson South, and the Crimson South train assassins to fight against the Azure North. And he is very close to, and I don't think they were quite in a relationship with the other guy, this guy here. And during a battle one day, he dies. And he's lost him. He thinks he's never going to see him again. And then 3 years pass, and he's become known as the Love Warrior because he's become super strong. And he goes on a mission to attack this encampment from the Azure North, and he comes across the leader of that encampment, who looks exactly like this guy, his partner who died. He's like, how can he possibly still be alive? He gets captured, he gets taken to the capital, and in the capital he learns that this country, the Azure North, instead of having assassins, they have like sorcerers. And one of the sorcerers has created this magic that can revive the dead and turn them into like soldiers. Most of the time, these soldiers are kind of just empty shells, but he managed to obtain free will and a mind of his own, but he's not the same person that he was when he was alive. He has a completely different personality now. He goes by a different name. And the guy who created these creatures wants to use him in order to see if he can bring back the original personality, because he has ulterior motives with this, and he wants to learn more about what his magic that he created can do. So he assigns him to pretend to be one of these like zombie creatures and stay by his side in order to see if he can bring out the original personality. And yeah, it was very good, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how things go. Because all that I just said was like the first chapter or 2. I think all that was like explained in like the first couple of chapters, and there was like 4 chapters. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how things go with the relationship and stuff. I was like, is he going to bring back the original personality? Is he going to fall for this new personality? It's very interesting, and I really liked it. It was probably one of my favourites of the BL that I read in the month, along with Our Sunny Days. And yeah, that was everything I read for the month of June, for Pride Month, and for the Pride Readathon. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm still thinking about doing that just manga that I would like to see get anime adaptations video. I did go back and I did find my old ones, and like the only 2 that are on that list. I had 2 older videos. One was 5, one was 10. And out of everything that I included in those lists, I think To Your Eternity and Dengeki Daisy were the only two that actually ended up getting animes on this list, from what I remember. But yeah, I do want to make that video. I've been like writing down things for it. Where is my list? I have so much crap in this notebook. Yeah, I've got a list of like several series, and I'm gonna maybe try and narrow it down, or maybe I'll just include them all. We'll see. I may do it this month, or I may do it next month. We'll see. I haven't got any hauls planned as of right now because I've still got like loads of series left to read. From my sci-fi haul that weren't BL, I got extra because I needed BL for the readathon, so I still got quite a bit to read. So there will probably be a haul more close to the end of the month, and then that video I may do next month or just sometime whenever I feel like it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you then, and bye bye.